wish that I could just wish away my feelings, but I can't.
Sand hurts my feelings.
I don't like sand,
Hurts my feelings.
haunted by fake sand in my very soul. Sand, how you're suffering as much as I am.
Sand hurts my feelings.
Tormenting me, I'm in agony.
Sand hurts my feelings.
I don't like sand.
Hello, and welcome to The Sand Hurts My Feelings, a Star Wars podcast from a Swiftie point of view. I am your host, Alex.
And I am your other host, Sarah. And today we are doing a wrap-up episode of Season 1.
Season 1, it's gone so fast.
Yeah, it's been, about 6 months, and we've gone through all 11 Taylor Swift studio albums and thought about how they relate to Leia, to Princess Leia. So we wanted to take, we're very excited to dive into Season 2, but we wanted to take a look back at this past season and kind of look at the playlists that we've created. By picking one song from each album, we more or less are creating a playlist. So we wanted to chat about those playlists, and then we have a mailbag session from one of our listeners sharing her picks. So we have a lot to talk about.
We do. And as Sarah talks about that, we do have these playlists, and they will be in our show notes on Spotify. So if you want to go listen to Sarah's Leia list and Alex's Leia list, you can absolutely go do that.
Yes. Very, very good. So let's go ahead and dive into our thoughts on our own playlists. We just want to...
Or just Season 1 in general. Yeah,
Season 1 in general. How'd you think it go? How was it for you, Alex?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I had a blast doing it, and we had lots of highs. We met some new people, which is really cool. We did Twin Cities Con 2024, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Got to meet a lot of people, and that was super fun. And I just had a blast talking about Leia and Taylor Swift, connecting these, it's just so much fun for me. And so that's why I'm so excited to talk about our later things, because I just kind of want to just keep going and just get it all, because I've got many seasons worth of lyrics and songs and pairings of people. So I'm just I want to get it all out, but we gotta take our time with it.
Yes, savor it. No, I've had so much fun this season talking about it and picking things out and apart and making connections, and for better or for worse, not being able to listen to certain Taylor Swift songs the same way.
Oh yeah, you've absolutely changed Breathe for me.
Yeah, that's the one I'm specifically thinking of. But I've had a lot of fun because we talked about a couple of times on the show, and I know I've posted to the Facebook of as Taylor Swift was doing her Eras tour, some of the surprise songs combinations were actually pairings that we had put together.
Yeah, that's insane. That was insane that we got.
There was 2 of those.
There was 2 of them, really?
Well, yeah.
What was the second one? Because I know we had what was it? It was Cassandra, not this order, but it was Cassandra, Look What You Made Me Do, and what was the other one?
Oh, I don't remember. But there was that one pairing that did the 3 songs like that. And then there was the other one that spoke directly to my playlist where she matched up Gorgeous and I Think He Knows.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yes. So to have that happen to it was very validating. And of course, Taylor Swift is not Taylor. If you're listening to this podcast, you are making our lives right now.
You can secretly send us an email, and we will not tell anyone.
We will not. Yeah.
If you want us to not tell anyone, just give us a no. Just send us an email. We won't share anybody. We won't tell anybody, but we will be hey, it'll make our lives better.
Well, right, and to have that happen twice on the Eras tour, it just it fuels the thing of she's such a Star Wars fan, and just it made me extra excited for what we're doing here, because I love what we're doing here with this podcast, and it just made me extra excited.
It breathes to the connection.
Yes,
there is a connection out there, whether she is actively fueling it or not, but it is there is a connection between Star Wars and Taylor Swift.
Yes. So let's dive a little bit deeper into our song pick and song selection.
Yep.
So obviously Leia is a very multifaceted person. We get all of Leia's life. We see both her birth and her passing and everything or a lot of what happens in between. So Leia's very multifaceted. And so we kind of picked 4 broad categories of like how our songs ended up kind of laying out in the themes around them.
Yep.
You want to go through what those are?
Sure. So going through, and we did this afterwards, so it was kind of looking through our songs and seeing, is there any kind of connection between them all?
Yeah,
And retrospectively looking at this. And again, that's kind of what we're doing here on this, our season wrap up. But so we have our 4 different sections are, she was a leader. So whether that's with the rebellion or the resistance.
Or even the New Republic.
Sure. That too. Then we have fighting the empire. So like a deliberate, because there's a number of times where we talk about her not necessarily having a leadership role, but of just her active of fighting for what's right. And then we have Han, the relationship with Han. And then we have a separate personal, because Han is his own thing, and we talk about him enough. But there's other personal pieces that I don't think we talked about enough to warrant their own, but gives you that kind of insight into her personal life.
Yeah, I kind of thought a little bit about it as the difference between her romantic love and relationships versus her other love and relationships.
Correct. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So running the numbers and kind of looking back and forth at it. So I ended up picking 3 songs about leadership. Alex picked 4.
I picked 4.
Mm-hmm. I picked 1 song about kind of fighting in the rebellion.
And I picked 2.
I picked 4 songs about Han.
And I picked 3 because I would think I was very deliberate of trying not to pick about Han. I wanted to make it sure it wasn't only about him.
Yeah. No, I can definitely appreciate that. And then I had 3 songs that were about her other relationships or her personal thoughts.
And I had 2.
Okay. So I mean, we're kind of in that.
We're pretty even. That's a really good. Again, retrospectively looking at that, that's a really even spot. It's not like one of us did like 11 about Han or all about the rebellion or that kind of a thing. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we're hitting on all of the different parts of her life. And I know when I set out to make, Alex mentioned that he was more intentional about like not trying to make every song about Leia and Han. And I know when I was listening through the albums and picking my songs, I was just focused on which one feels most Leia. I wasn't necessarily looking of like, oh, I don't really have anything emblematic of the sequel trilogy yet. So let's make sure that this pick or I get one that is from the sequel trilogy. I didn't have that thought as I was going through. It's just whichever one I felt fit best. And so to me, that's really cool that you do have this distribution, that you have some of her time as a leader, you have her family dynamics, and then you also do have love.
Yeah. And I mean, I also find it really fascinating that especially in like the personal, because I think we can go a little bit into that of like, we don't really touch on the same personal stuff.
No.
Because I know you talk about Ben, and you talk about her father. But I think I think that's the only one that we kind of, or her father being Bail Organa. And I think that's where both of us are kind of, we connected a little bit there, but I think we took a very different look at it with the songs. And so then mine were about, and then my 2 was one about her father. And then the other one was about Darth Vader and her biological father. So it's very interesting that like, yeah, we have these personals, we have these again, and I think even looking at Han too, like we didn't take the same look at each Han thing. Like that's again the cool thing about how intricate these songs are and how much a variety they are and how different they are, is that it just, everything is so, you can be connected but very different.
Yes. Yeah, I think especially for the songs for Han, what I also really like too is we both have a couple that are like happy love or like this love is good. But then we also each have one song, and it's not the same song about like the bittersweetness of it, of like, I love you, but there's also downsides, or like the falling apart and the coming back together. And I think that's really cool too.
Yeah, I think that is true. Yeah, I'm actually surprised because I have most of my stuff is happy, actually. Like the early episodes, looking at my list, yeah, the early episodes are happy because, again, I think that's kind of who Taylor was at that time. It's kind of harder to find those harder. You did a really good job with Breathe, though. But yeah, but it's kind of harder to find those sadder songs because she's kind of upbeat and thinking about that kind of just being a happy teenager, which is great at that time. But then as things go, she gets a little more thoughtful and deeper in her lyrics and kind of wrestling with her life as it goes, and as we all do. And again, I think even as Leia does, of like Leia's wrestling with her life, like, because I look at my list at least, and I see a whole like, this is like Leia growing up, basically.
No, 100%. Like,
I start very happy, and then I get like, oh, there's the true love and that kind of happiness, and then it kind of falls away. Like, not that growing up is a horrible thing, but it's just like the realities but like Leia's growing up was not great. Like her becoming an adult, she then had to fight a war and everything. So just looking at that, I just noticed that. So that's really cool.
So no, because I spent some time, and so I put so like you said, the playlists are up now on the Spotify. So I listened through mine, and then I listened through yours, and I want to give you mad props because your playlist is much better than mine.
Okay, explain that. I disagree, but
like I love the way that yours flows, and like you were just talking, it's like kind of the progression through Leia's life.
Oh, okay, so you're talking about like the just the progression of it is better, not necessarily the songs or anything.
Look,
but just
hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. So,
right.
like you're talking, it starts from a place of innocence, of hope. We see her victories in the rebellion, and then we move into Leia's love life, and then some of the other surface level things that we see and feel in the movie. And then basically the back half of your playlist is like diving deeper into her psyche and seeing the shades of gray in everything and what she's feeling, and her actually getting to express her burdens. So it's like your front half is like, of your playlist is like, this is what we see on the screen, and your back half is like, this is what she's really feeling. And I love that. And I don't know if you were that intentional in your playlist creation or not. And some of your transitions are absolutely great. I love your transition between Change and Long Live. I think those two pair really well together. I love the transition between Death by a Thousand Cuts and Mad Woman, because what makes a Mad Woman? A Death by a Thousand Cuts. They speak to each other and like add to the story. Those two transitions, I was just like, this is so cool and so perfect. And so like, as you're saying that, and you're just looking at the list now, it is Leia's life laid out from the innocence to her grappling with her traumas. And I think you did the transitions really well and how it's laid out. It makes sense to me in a way that my playlist does not.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, I will tell you now, like, I want to be like, yeah, I totally planned all of this out. I did not. None of this was planned, again, because I didn't even think of doing a playlist really until, like, that was totally Sarah's idea of putting it all as a playlist. So I did not even think about it that way. So I cannot take credit for that, but I can take credit, but can't say, like, I'm not George Lucas and saying it was a plan all along. It is not. It was not. It was.
This is a happy accident.
And I think that a lot of that had to do with just I think part of, like, this is why I love the connections with Taylor and everything, is like, that's who Taylor is like Taylor was that. Taylor basically is Leia, of like, her early life was really interesting but like very happy, very poppy, very country, trying to get in, and like, we can't see the inner turmoil or anything that's going on because she has to project this perfect happy girl. And then as it goes, she slowly gathers her voice and then can release that tension, that frustration, the problems with the patriarchy, problems with the music industry, all those things, and she can let those out, and just problems with her love life and stuff like that, and be much more honest. And like, it works. It works really well. So again, I think this is a great start to your season. Like I think it was perfect to start with Leia. Like I think they line up so perfectly of like in life and everything. And it's just like, no, it was not on purpose, but I'm very, very pleased with my playlist.
Good. You should be. It's a great playlist.
Yours is still good. Like you have a lot of good songs and good choices, but yes, I would say yours kind of jump around from like happy, sad, happy, like, and that kind of a thing. It's not kind of a flow.
No, yeah, because I was looking back on it. It's like there's a little bit of a grouping because like the first couple of songs are slow. Yep. The middle, you get more happy, you get more pop, and then you go back to slow. And so I'm just like, it is kind of an arc, but it's not great.
But they're still good songs and they mean what they mean. And that's important. And that's what we talked about. So that's why I was like, it's not better. I think fine musically, my playlist might be better of like telling a story, which was totally on accident. But like your songs absolutely tell the story of Leia. So I do want to
thank you.
Prop that up.
Yeah.
All right.
So do you want to do our mailbag?
Yes, let's do our mailbag.
Yes. Okay. So we have a lovely listener, Leia, who sent in her picks for every album for Leia.
And yeah, this is again one of the things that we loved about this season is we met her at Twin Cities Con, and she has been continuing to communicate with us, and we love that about her. And if anybody else wants to communicate with us, please, we enjoy it. We like having conversations.
Yes.
We like making friends online.
Yes. So we're
adults now. Don't do that, kids.
Good little PSA there. So we've already shared her picks for Evermore and Midnights. So go check out those episodes for her picks on those. But we'll kind of quick go through all of her other Princess Leia picks. So for the debut album, she also picked A Place in This World, just like Alex. Same thought process.
Correct. And so sorry to interrupt, but yes, she sent these. So she found out about us at Twin Cities Con. So she jumped in later, but so she sent in her picks at Evermore, and like just before Evermore.
Yeah, so that's why we featured
those, and we just forgot on TTPD and the other ones. But because if you do send them in, we will get them in on the episode if we remember. But yeah, she just sent a whole big long email, and it was amazing, and we loved it.
So then for her pick for Fearless Taylor's version, she picked You All Over Me. She looked at this from the perspective of Leia being Vader's daughter. And as soon as people found out about that, they started forming their opinions about Leia that weren't true and based really only on her father. And she was unable to wash Vader off of her. And she was always known as Vader's child from that point out. So kind of the line that summarizes it all up for Leia for this pick is, no amount of freedom gets you clean. I still got you all over me.
And that lines perfectly up with my smallest man who ever lived pick. So, and this is without her knowing that was my pick. So yeah, great pick.
Mm-hmm. Her pick for Speak Now Taylor's version surprised me at first, but then when she gave the explanation, I was right on board with her. She picked Dear John, sung from Leia's perspective about fighting the Empire and how the Empire dominated her thoughts and actions from such a young age and left her scarred and traumatized after that point. So Leia points out that Leia is 19 in A New Hope, just like Taylor Swift sings in the song. Don't you think I was too young to be messed with? Don't you think 19's too young? So love that connection.
Yeah, I struggled to look at Dear John in anything else than like that. So massive props.
Yes, I think it's a great pick. For Red Taylor's version, she picks 2, which fair. Red Taylor's version is a big album. She first picked Ronin, which is symbolic of her and Ben's relationship before he turned to the dark side. She pictures Leia crying out to Ben and wanting the Ben that she knew to come home and be back with her.
Which is, again, a great pick. I don't know if we've said this, but Sarah and I have kind of made an agreement that we will not be using Ronin. We will not be using, what was the other one?
Wasn't it Soon You'll Be Better?
Yeah, Soon You'll Get Better. We're not going to use those 2 songs. Very, very good pick, but we want to leave those as Taylor's special songs to those people, to her mom and to Ronan, because it is written with the words of a mother whose son passed due to cancer. So we wanted to be very distinct and careful with those, and so we will not be picking those for any character. But good pick here. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Her other pick for Red Taylor's version is Nothing New, which represents Leia in the Resistance, and I think really kind of anything post original trilogy. She particularly likes the line, "How can a person know everything at 18 but nothing at 22?" is kind of the sense of I know how to fight, I know how to be in the rebellion, I know how to lead that, but now that it's over, now that the Empire is defeated, what do I do? And so to me, that's also really reminiscent of the Hamilton line, "Winning is easy, governing is harder."
Yeah.
Kind of the same concept.
Yeah. The concept of, again, fighting is easy because you're fighting against things. Like you know what you're fighting against. You're all fighting against something, versus governing, you have to like make people happy. You have to think about everybody. You have to do all that stuff. Yeah. No.
Yeah, you have to make your own decisions. It's not just no empire.
Right.
So for 1989 Taylor's version, Kalia picked Suburban Legends, which represents Leia and Han's relationship. Kind of picked out through the quotes, "You were so magnetic it was almost obnoxious. Flush with the currency of cool, I was always turning out my empty pockets when it came to you." And then the line, "We were born to be national treasures." Like, I think that just kind of fits the iconicness of Han and Leia.
Yep. Good pick.
For Reputation, she picked Endgame to represent Han and Leia's relationship. Both of them have big reputations, and specifically Leia has big enemies. Han does too, but that's not, Taylor sings from it from a first person, I have big enemies. So Leia has big enemies, and Leia's also captivated by Han. And that is emblematic of some of the lines in Endgame. And there's even a nod to them falling apart and coming back together in Ed Sheeran's line, "Knew her when I was young, reconnected when we were a little bit older."
Yep.
For Lover, she loved my pick of I Think He Knows, which, yes, thank you. Thank you. But then she also offered Archer as an alternative, since Leia is always fighting and she never got a real childhood. Her heroes died all alone, and she's been both the hunter and the prey in the great Star Wars.
Yep.
I like that one. For Folklore, she chose Mad Woman.
She liked mine. My pick. Yeah, that's right. I'll take those.
Yes. And as we already mentioned, we've shared her picks for Evermore at Midnights in those episodes, so go check those out. And then to cap it all off, for the Tortured Poets department, she picked Clara Bow, symbolizing the generational passing of the torch from one female leader to the other. So she says that Padme is Clara Bow, Leia is Stevie Nicks, and Rey is Taylor Swift. And she says that the line, "You look like Stevie Nicks in 75, the hair and lips," gives "you look just like your mother" vibes, which I think is really cool for Leia. And then Leia passes the torch to the next generation, which is Taylor Swift / Rey.
Nice.
Yes. So I love
That was a really good last pick.
I love these picks.
All of them are good.
Yes. So you have a great playlist, Kalia.
Indeed.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we want to share about season 1 here with Leia, Taylor Swift?
I think I'm okay. I just had a blast doing this. So this is just so much fun. And thank you for the 5 people that are listening or whatever. I do it for me, but it gets happy. It makes me feel good that other people like listening. But yeah, like, it's just a blast, and I love talking about Taylor and Star Wars, and I'm amazed that my wonderful wife wants to do this with me, and that I converted her into a Swiftie. So it's great. I love it. Yeah. Thank you for going on this journey with me, Sarah.
Oh, this is my pleasure. And I am so excited for season 2. Season 2 will be the same format, going through each of Taylor Swift's 11 studio albums and picking a song. But for this second season, it will be Padme.
Oh, man.
And I am so excited. I love me some Padme. I'm just like ready to like live in my prequel era.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a really interesting season, because I think there's so many Taylor Swift moments that can be applicable, but then like there's also so many sides of Padme.
Yes, I do want to preface everybody that like I love Padme and everything. You might want to go read the Padme trilogy from E.K. Johnston. I love it. Sarah loves it. It's a great
good.
trilogy. A lot of, I think, what we're going to be saying comes from that too, because unfortunately, Padme does not get the best representation in the movies. But yeah, but I will be addressing that as well in my picks. So that is a thing.
So yeah, we'll be starting back up again. We'll be taking a little bit of a break here to start the new year, and we're going to be back with season 2
1 month from today.
Yes, so that will be February 7th, which is Star Wars Podcast Day, celebrating all of the Star Wars podcasts that are out there in the world.
Yeah, so our sister podcast, Feeling the Force, it has been a part of this for a couple years now, and it's a great thing. I believe it's Talking Jedi was the first podcast, Star Wars podcast, to be released back in 1999. It's insane, and that is that long ago, and so it released on February 7th. So that's why the person who organized it chose that date, and it's going to be so much fun. And so we will then, after that, go back to our regular scheduled releases of the first and third Tuesdays of the month.
Yes. So stick with us here as we take a little bit of a break, but then we'll be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to talk all things Padme.
Yeah, so while we won't be releasing episodes, we will still be active on our socials. If you want to find us on Instagram or Threads, you can contact us with The Sand Hurts My Feelings Pod. You can also send us an email at thesandhurtsmyfeelingspod@gmail.com. You can connect with us on Facebook at The Sand Hurts My Feelings Podcast, or we are also on Blue Sky, we are Sandy Feelings. I love that name. And then we also have a Redbubble, so Sandy Feelings.
Yes. So we have some Taylor Swift word clouds. We have some Star Wars word clouds. We have some Elton John word clouds. We played around with the lyrics, had some fun. Just go check it out.
Yeah. If you want to buy anything or just look around.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So yeah, we will see you all in 1 month, and may the Force be with you.
Forever and always.
May the Force be with you.
Forever and always.